Anyway, so I'm just like, okay, I'm super traditional. Like, I'm gonna get my next bow is going to be. I bought like the child-sized bow and arrows at Walmart. It was the only thing I could afford, and it was good for teaching me the basics. Everybody who held it, who knew anything about archery at this Purple Jesus party that I went to was kind of like, whoa, that's a really heavy draw for such a little bow. Like, you wouldn't think it would be such a heavy draw, but it's not actually string on the bow, it's a rope. It's a real thick rope, like really rough. Luckily, the thing came with a finger guard for the arrows, otherwise my hands would be rubbed completely raw every time I practiced. Because yeah, when you're shooting, your hand obviously is going to rest on the string slash rope. So, and it's very heavy. Like, I didn't expect it to be as heavy as it was, and I could barely pull back on it when I first started. I can pull back a lot further now. But the one I'm getting is going to be a 22-pound draw, which is, it's a beginner's bow. It's meant for beginners. It's meant for casual use, which is fine by me. It looks just like the one that Katniss used in the arena, except it's a darker gray. And I'm actually going to get the arrows that she used. Now the quiver won't be the same. They don't sell shoulder quivers. They only sell the ones that go by your hip, which is fine. Whatever. That's what they use in modern archery. I'll deal with it. But so I'm going to get that, and that's going to be my Christmas present, like for real. And then I'm going to have to work on finding either somewhere to set up targets or finding a way to get to some club that's already made. I've heard that there's a club in Logie Bay, which a bus goes to Stavanger Drive, which is quite far away from my house, but Logie Bay is even further away, so I'm wondering, maybe I could walk to it. The only other thing I know of is at least 20 or 25 minutes drive. I do not have a car. The buses go nowhere near it, so I can't get there. I need to find a way to practice my archery. It's not in my basement, because my basement I've only got, it might be 5 or 6 feet that I am away from the target. Like, it was good for starting off, but I really need something more challenging at this point, because my accuracy is getting a lot better at that range, and it's getting a lot more boring, to be honest, too. I still don't hit many bullseyes, though, so maybe I should be working on that. I don't know. But anyway, that's another interest I developed, to try and counter the empty time that was going to be left from not having the eating disorder and not, constantly going on eating disorder websites to fill up my time. Archery, the Hunger Games, I've sort of gotten back into my MUD. It's a role-playing game. It's text-based, but you have to download a client, they call it. It's a program that you put the URL in and the port number. I don't know, I only vaguely have an idea what a port is, but anyway, you put in a number, and you connect to it on the client, and you play. It's fun. I don't know, I like it. I don't really like the visual role plays like World of Warcraft. I was never truly interested in playing it, to be totally honest, because I was just kind of like, well, you see everything. There's no, as Anna Green Gables would put it, scope for imagination in World of Warcraft, because you see everything. You make a character, and your character looks like what it looks like, and nobody can imagine anything about it. It's just there. It's what it is, I understand that it's probably a fun game, but, the whole other thing is you have to pay a monthly fee if you want to get on, like, the non-buggy, crashy servers, and I'm just like, I want something free. And MUDs are free. Now, the client is not supposed to be free, but my friend helped me out a little bit, because he has a registered one, and he gave me his name and his serial number, so thank you, friend. You're never going to see this, but thank you. Okay, I'm rambling a bit, but this is the kind of stuff that I've been doing. I've been reading a lot. I started voice lessons again. I'm in 2 choirs. I am actually supposed to leave for the choir in about 40 minutes. I'll be honest, this one is the more advanced, shall I say. Well, it is more advanced. It's an all-female choir, and it's run by my old voice teacher, Angela, and she basically recruited all the musical girls she knew she said the ages were between like 19 and early 30s, so I felt okay about that. Since I'm 26, and I said, well, I might be a bit old, like, for a choir evangelist if she's got former students or whatever coming in. I figured they'd all be, you know, really young, but if there's people there who are in their early 30s, then it's cool, whatever. There's at least one person my age, because she told that person that I had graduated the same year as her. So, she must be my age. I mean, she has to be, you know. Because you usually graduate from Take Note when you're in your final year of high school, just because, you know, you usually go on to university or whatever. And in my case, I went to music school, so I had a new teacher at music school, that sort of thing. But I don't really want to go. I'm singing soprano 1-1. Now, in this choir, imagine female voices go from high to low, obviously the highest to the lowest. So you have soprano and alto. Now the choir is divided into soprano 1, which is the highest, soprano 2, which is a little lower, alto 1, which is lower still, and alto 2, which is the lowest. But in the rep that Angela has, it's complex because we're all musicals, so you know, she can pick complex pieces for us. So soprano 1 also gets divided into 2. So you have soprano 1-1 and soprano 1-2. So if you're on the soprano 1 line and you're soprano 1-1, you sing basically all the notes in the stratosphere. The high G's, A's, B's, all that shit. You're always singing it all the time. And that's what Angela put me in. And ever since she did, it's kind of like, on the one hand, it's like a pride thing. To be a soprano 1-1, you have to be good. You have to be able to hit the highest notes. And not only that, but you have to be able to sound good doing them. And it is something that not everybody can do. And so being part of that group kind of makes me feel like special, I guess, because there's only 3 of us in it, right? Most of the soprano 1s are soprano 1-2s. There's about 5 of them, I think. So there's probably 8 or 9 of us all together in soprano 1. I mean, I know I'm a soprano 1. I mean, there's no question about that. My voice is very high. Low notes hurt me. I could never be an alto. But, you know, soprano 1-1 is difficult. It's really hard to be constantly singing all those high notes all night. And I basically have to be at peak form every time I go. And there's a music major in my section, soprano 1-1. And, like, obviously she hears every mistake and she knows. And she's in her 3rd year. Like, even when I was in my 2nd year, I would have heard all the things that she hears. And so it's kind of like, I'm proud to be in this section because it's not something everybody can do, but at the same time I feel like if I make one little mistake, it's going to be very harshly judged, and I feel horrible about myself if I make a mistake. And so it's really stressful. And so I contemplate asking to go to soprano 1-2, but then I'm like, to do that would almost be like admitting weakness, because it's not that I can't sing the notes, it's that I find the whole thing very stressful. So it's like admitting, oh my god, I'm so stressed out, I'm so anxious about this. But at the same time, it would be easier on my anxiety if I was in soprano 1-2, because I wouldn't be singing in the stratosphere all the time. But then I know that I'd be sitting there listening to the very highest part and being jealous that I wasn't in it, and being kind of ashamed that I copped out. So it's kind of it's a lose-lose scenario for me, basically. And so going to that choir always stresses me out. How long is this video? God. Oh, Jesus. Probably gonna even have to cut this in half, even though YouTube allows long videos now, but it's been months. Come on, I have a lot to ramble about. And if you're not interested, just turn the fucking thing off. Why are you even watching it this far, you know? I mean, really. If you're not interested in me, I really hope you turned it off at like minute 2 instead of being here. So that choir stresses me out. I'm in another choir called Spectrum, and that's not stressful at all, because if there's a soprano 1 part, you're lucky. It's soprano, alto, tenor, bass, because we have boys and we have girls. Or we have rather low voices and high voices, because there are transgender people in the choir, because it's a queer choir. Which is cool. Totally cool. I love the freedom in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, anybody can be who they are, and it's totally accepted, and it's really cool. And the director is awesome, so fun. It's a lot more fun than my other choir, because the other choir is more like, but see, the other choir is more advanced, so I feel like I'm being challenged more in the other choir. So And honestly, it's a good choir balance, but it's just my whole big issue with the soprano 1-1 versus 1-2, and God knows when that'll ever be resolved. I mean, I missed 2 rehearsals in a row. Well, actually, no, I missed one, and the other one got canceled because apparently so many people weren't going to show up that she had to cancel it. And I'm kind of like, it doesn't really bode well. But it wasn't canceled for tonight, so it's on the go. It's really shitty weather, but it's been shitty weather for days here. Hurricane Sandy or whatever it is, I haven't heard tell of it in my province particularly. We're very easterly, so it's, a lot of it now is going up through New Jersey, places like that, which is, in terms of Canada, it's more of a central Canadian thing. Quebec, Ontario, my Ontarian friend is supposed to get hit with it. But I'm like way east of that, like really east. So unless a big wind thing picks up and it really moves east, we're not going to get any of it. And if we do, I'd say it's only going to be a little bit of rain and wind because it will probably have died a lot by the time it gets to Canada because that's what hurricanes usually do. We did get hit with one hurricane a while ago, Hurricane Leslie, and I found it terribly ironic, to be honest, but because I had a friend named Leslie who died of anorexia maybe a month or 2, not even, before this hurricane hit, and I said, Leslie's getting revenge on all the people who can't, it was really like Leslie's revenge on not getting better, on all the treatments she tried that failed her, on all the professionals that failed to help her, sort of thing. And I just said Leslie's getting her own back, and she did a good number on Newfoundland, I'll tell you that. I lost my power for, God, it must have been 3 days, maybe 4, because I was one of a handful, well, not a handful, actually, more like 2,000 zones where only certain houses in these areas didn't have power, so it took them a long time to go and fix it. And that happened to me the last one we had, which was Hurricane Igor, which was the biggest hurricane that I've seen in my lifetime. It was the biggest hurricane in probably 50 or 60 years, according to the Weather Network in this area. That was devastating. And that one, I was living downtown at the time, and there was a tree in which our power thing was posted or whatever, I guess. And that tree completely collapsed. It covered the road. You couldn't go through the road because this tree was on the ground. And so we didn't get power back for like 4, 5, 6 days because now they did get to it faster than some other things because it did close off one of the main roads for downtown, which wasn't good for traffic. So we got it within 4 or 5 days, but I mean, there was such devastation with Igor that we were lucky to get it that fast. And most of the people around us had power, but because we were in that power box of the tree that fell over, we lost our power for a long time. I was the only one who salvaged any groceries because I was the only one who had somewhere to go that had power. My parents let me stay for a couple days till we got power back, which is the same thing they did for this one actually, but I think I only had to stay a night, but I would have lost all my groceries if I hadn't gone. Anyway, okay, I know this video is getting completely ridiculous. It's certainly going to be cut in half, if not into 3 parts, and, I understand if nobody even watches to this point, but, yeah, I mean, there's my update. I'm supposed to be getting more help from more sources now. I'm supposed to reconnect with my social worker from Emmanuel House, and I have to call about my therapy. I see my psychiatrist tomorrow. Got my choirs to go back to. All sorts of shit. So, I mean, hopefully I can avoid what I did again, but it was something that came on so sudden, so fast. It was just a total loss of hope and purpose. Like imagine having your purpose be like way, way up there and all of a sudden, nothing. Less than nothing. You're back where you were before, only it's 10 times worse because you just had a purpose and now it's completely gone. And so, it's the utter despair. It was a very calculated, premeditated thing. It wasn't impulsive like most of my other attempts have been. And I guess that's the scariest part about it. It was serious. It was totally premeditated. I planned it for I planned it meticulously. I planned it for hours before I actually carried it out. I wrote like an entire will. Like, objectively, that's scary. I mean, I know, but I don't feel it. Anyway, if you want to comment, feel free and all that stuff. So this is done for now. So, bye.